panowie. Please apologize in advance because this presentation is going to be in English. Just out of curiosity, anyone here does not understand English? Please raise your hand. Nie mluvić język angielski? Okay, so that's fine. So my presentation today is going to be about migration to Magento from different platforms. But before I start, let me do one thing. I'm a huge fan of networking, and I believe that the primary reason why we come at these conferences to meet new people, make connections, and because of that, I would ask you to do one thing. Can everyone please stand up? Come on, folks. That's good for your health. Stand up. Now, please turn around to find the person that you don't know around you. Please find the person that you don't know. Please introduce yourself. Please introduce. Go ahead, you have 1 minute. Exchange business cards if you have some, and you should have some for the conference. Okay, thank you very much. Hey guys, thank you. Okay, hope this was useful for you. So now let me introduce myself. I represent the Atwix company, and as you see, we have a lot of nice badges. We are a Silver Solution Partner, we have certified developers, certified Zen engineers, Google, Scrum, everything. And that means we have a qualified team. And our team loves to share experience as well. That's why we have a blog where our engineers post a blog post about the Magento development at least once every week. So you can subscribe to our Twitter, follow us on Twitter to see the announces, because whenever we post an article, we share it on Twitter, and it's really useful. So now let's get to the presentation. Anyone knows what this logo means? Raise your hand. Who knows what is this? Oh, not too many. Really? Just 3 people knows? That's our scammers. Our scammers. Okay, guys. When we started with e-commerce, it was a long time ago, and there was no Magento at that time. And the Commerce was a king of that time. That was the most popular e-commerce platform, and it is still popular. And we started to work with Commerce, and it was quite well. Clients were happy. We were able to deliver good solutions. We were able to install different modules, do some nice setups, and the clients were really happy. But then, as time goes, the developers seems to have just lost the interest in the platform, and they stopped to release new versions, and the competition was still high. So people turned away, and people were not happy, our clients were not happy, and we were forced to look for another solution. And that's how we came by C Reloaded. Anyone knows C Reloaded? No one. Oh, just a couple. That's my guy. Okay, so C Reloaded was a fork of OS Commerce. Fork means that it was built on the base of OS Commerce, but they added some nice features, and it was fine for a while again. But since they had a lot of those different extensions, they started to conflict with each other, and they did not have enough desire to fix. And again, the same story happened they just lost interest, no new releases, no new fixes, and we had to look for another platform. Anyone knows? No? I hope yes, so I don't have to explain what's the platform it is and the advantages. I think Kathleen did a nice job about that in the first talk. So that's how we came by Magento. But who knows if our decision was right or not. And there is one nice way to see, is to analyze what platforms people use and their market shares, to see if other people think that Magento is great, if it's gaining the popularity, if Magento people take care of the platform and gain the customer respect. So there is a nice data available. It's an e-commerce survey which is gathered by Tom Robertshaw, the Magento developer from UK. And this guy came with a great idea. He decided to take Alexa 1 million most popular websites and analyze them in terms of, first he found how many e-commerce websites among those 1 million, and then he wrote some scripts to find out which platforms among those e-commerce websites and analyze their market share. So let's quickly go over the data and see what are the findings. I selected the top 5 most popular platforms nowadays, and number 5 goes to PrestaShop. And the PrestaShop is, how many people familiar with PrestaShop? I see more than with those commerce, for sure. PrestaShop is, for those who are not familiar with it, PrestaShop was built in France, and now they have office in the United States. And as you see, they did amazing. They demonstrated 208% growth from November 2010 till now. That's really, they tripled their results, which is really good. And today they have 2,621 stores from the top 1 million e-commerce stores. And that represents 7.4% share. By the way, those people who are familiar with PrestaShop, do you think that Magento is better in terms of development? Raise your hand, come on, don't be lazy. Yes, good feedback. Okay, next platform is, you know, OS Commerce. And it's really a lousy trend. You can see this is actually the only platform from top 5 that lost its share. And the share is decreased by 8% from November 2010 till now. And that's not really good. And but as you know, they stopped to release new versions even before 2010. So this trend helps us to understand how building a strong community helps. Because OS Commerce has a really big community of developers. They have forums, they have a lot of extensions. And that's probably what helps them to still stay, despite they don't do new releases. And right now, the 3rd version is in development. They seems to be trying to get it back to market, so who knows what happens. But frankly, I don't believe something will change. Number 3 is VirtuMart. Anyone knows VirtuMart? Okay, less than PrestaShop. We can analyze market share here. Okay, so VirtuMart is an extension for Joomla, and it's also a product with a long history, but I think that we have to thank for this big market share to the popularity of Joomla, because it's a really popular CMS system. And CMS in general is more popular than e-commerce websites. There are, for sure, more CMS-based websites comparing to e-commerce. So people just probably install CMS and think, why not open little shop and sell some stuff? And since the CMS is popular, it helps them to get to top 1 million, and that's why we see it here. So they demonstrated 36% growth from February 2011. Why February? Because we don't have data for the periods before. And they have 3,657 stores today, which is 10.4% share. Not bad. Next one is Zencart. Who knows Zencart? Good. Zencard is also a fork of OS Commerce, and they started as early as 2003. So that was quite a while ago. But the difference with serial loaded is that Zencard put more effort in development. They support the product, and they still release new versions. So people seem to love them, but not really this type of love, just this type of love. So they did 43% growth, which is 12.9% share today. And number one is obviously Magento. Magento demonstrated, continuous growth from the first time the survey was conducted till now. Every edition shown Magento growth, and it's more than twice in 2 years. Not bad, I think. It's 8,000 stores and 8,087 stores. And what's interesting is that you would maybe say that PrestaShop did better, that they tripled their market share, but Magento just doubled. But what I would say that PrestaShop has less stores today than Magento had in 2010. So despite the attempts of growth, when you get bigger, it's not as easy to triple or double your share. It's not that easy anymore. But we see that Magento is really doing well. So this is the total picture. We can see that Magento beats PrestaShop by 3 times. And the closest competitor is Zencard with 12.9%. Not bad. But what if 8,087 lemmings who choose Magento are wrong? Anyone knows this metaphor? You're supposed to laugh here. Okay. I mean, what if those people are wrong? I mean, they may have selected Magento, but why? Maybe some friend gave them advice, maybe their neighbor, or maybe, I don't know, the barber, anyone. So how do we know? And I think there is, using the same data we have from the e-commerce survey, there is a nice way to verify whether we're right or wrong, because it's not that hard to get in top 1 million. You just need to have like maybe 200 visitors a day in your store. That's not much. But that gets you top 1 million. And you see that this data may be not that much representative. So what we decided to do is analyze top 100,000 stores. Because in that segment, 100,000 most popular websites in the web, there are some good players. And that's mostly an enterprise market. Quite popular stores with many visitors, obviously. So what we've seen is Magento has even more share. It has 24.8% in this segment. And the closest competitor, which is IBM WebSphere, a well-known enterprise e-commerce software, is just 11%. So Magento beats it hard. Then goes ATG from Oracle, and then Virtumart and Zencard, and OS Commerce is not on this picture, but in case you're interested, it has practically the same share as Zencard, just 2 stores less or something like that. So we see that in segment of 100,000 most popular e-commerce websites, Magento is a king, really strong player. Okay, but you may not trust Alexa, but I think you trust Google. Google is a big boy or big brother watching us. So there is Google Trends, which analyzes number of search queries for different terms. So I just put in OS Commerce, Magento, Zencard, PrestaShop, and Virtumart in it and select date range from, I think, late 2007 till now. And what we see, look at OS Commerce, the blue line. It's like stock market in US in 2008. Falling down. And Magento is growing. You can see it's like a whole different story. And but what's interesting, the PrestaShop is also rises. You can see that Magento should watch their competitors because they are common. Okay, but the other platforms, the trend is really bad. They're falling down to 0. Okay, I think enough with trends. Now you're convinced that Magento is a good platform. Okay, so what are the reasons people want to migrate to different platforms? Say you have an e-commerce store now. Why would you want to change your platform? Why they are not satisfied? They want features. The platform may not have as many features as they need, so they want features. They want support. They want to feel that someone is taking care of them. They want to have extensions, because if they don't have enough features, they want extensions. It's obviously. They want updates. They want to feel that platform is up to date and new releases with new features again, common. Then scalability. They want to know that if their business grow, and of course they expect their business to grow, because otherwise it makes no point to do business. You want it to grow. They want to know that the platform will still be a right fit. And they want a faith. They want to believe in the platform. They want to be emotional about it. So Magento have it all. Look at the features, lots of features, extensions. They have I contacted Magento before this presentation and asked how many extensions you have in Magento Connect. And they said 6,800. Okay, but then I just opened Magento Connect and see these numbers in parentheses next to the categories, which shows the number of extensions. And I counted around 9,000. I don't think what's wrong and which figure is right, but that's a lot anyway. And if we look at OS Commerce, it has around 7,000 extensions. And it's a platform with more than 10 years of history. 10 years of history, 7,000 extensions. Magento, around 5. And Magento Connect is obviously not that old. And it already at the same level. And it's growing. It's growing, many companies creating extensions. If we look at updates, again, Magento release updates. Fine. If we look at scalability, you've seen a number of case studies like Angry Birds. It's really able to handle large number of orders and visitors, like 1 million visitors in 24 hours. That's a lot. And 5,000 orders in 1 minute. That's also a lot. And Magento can do it. Support, both through community and through enterprise support if you have enterprise version. So you know that you're not alone. And people have faith. They believe in Magento. They come to the conferences. They come to the events. And they know that eBay is behind Magento. eBay is a very serious brand that people trust eBay. They know that if Magento is owned by eBay, probably it's going to do well. No, eBay is just not going to lose interest in Magento, and same story is not likely to happen as it happened to OS Commerce, for example. So Magento has it all, basically. And we've done a couple of migrations, and I asked one of our clients, whitefitshoes.co.uk, to do a little interview. I asked him some questions and just decided to let you know what customers think. Not what I think, but words from customer. So I asked why they were not happy with the platform. And they used OS Commerce, by the way. And the reasons were bugs, obviously. And that's, of course, goes to constant fixes, because somebody have to fix bugs. Then slow website. It was slow, just slow. And all of this just resulted in an unpleasant customer experience. They were concerned about SEO. When the concerns about migration, what might change, they're concerned about SEO. They don't want to drop their rankings. They also concerned about staff training, because they need to train staff how to use Magento, and that may take time. And they were concerned about speed, of course. But here are the results. What we've got from the migration. Of course, the conversion rate is the most important thing. And the conversion rate raised by 38%. That's a lot, 38%. And what even more important, that for new visitors who don't trust your website yet, they come first time, it raised 64%. So in terms of usability, they did really well. And as a side effect, average transaction value also raised 29%. But that's only about the conversion. The one important thing they've got is now they spend money on improvements versus fixes. Previously, we had to fix all the bugs, and that takes time and money. Now we spend time improving their website. So their budgets are really spent well. So when you think about migration and consider the amount of money you want to spend, you want to think that that's investment. And you spend it now on migration to then spend money on improvements instead of spending the same money on fixes. So you're getting a better and better website. You're growing your business. Here's the customer comment. I think we don't have too much time to read this over, but I can assure he was happy. So now I'm going to tell about the requirements and expectations you need to have for the migration. Just in general terms, because again, we don't have time to dip in. And I don't want to bore you. So first thing you need, and that's really, really important, is qualified team. You want to have superstars helping you. It should be really the guys you trust. And this is probably enough. If you have a qualified team, they will help you with everything else. You don't need anything else. So the qualified team, it should preferably have experience with the platform you're migrating from. So if you migrate from, I don't know, PrestaShop, consider finding guys who had experience with PrestaShop. If you migrate from OSCommerce, consider finding guys who had experience with OSCommerce. It's not absolutely necessary, but it helps, believe me. Next thing, choose the right platform. Decide you need community, enterprise, or Magento Go maybe, and the qualified team, of course, will help you do this because they can consult you, obviously. And many people ask, maybe we can start with community and then switch to enterprise, and they're not sure, so this should be addressed. You want to choose the right platform from the beginning, and it will make things easier later on. There is no complete automation of migration. You see, the robot is broken. There are some services online that suggest you to transfer data. They can transfer data from one platform to another automatically, but that just doesn't work. It works just in some little cases with some products, some customers, some orders, maybe. And you get lots of faults. So don't expect that migration will be just like 10 minutes. You put in the login credentials for old website, new website, boom, and it's done. No, it doesn't happen. Migration takes time. Be prepared. Month, at least month. Because you need to transfer data, test everything, and you want to make sure that everything works fine. Don't overload. What I mean is you probably need to come up with a list of features you want for migration, you want for a new website, and close this list. Because if you, during the migration, if you start adding new things you want, you're dragging developers into endless process of development, and never release. That's against agile philosophy, if you know, and just come up with a list of things you want and commit. By the way, how many % of features used in a certain software? Let's say we have a software, and how many % of features of this software, let's say, never used by customer? What % of features never used by customers in average? 2%? 20? 50. Anyone else? 80. Okay, sold for 80. Joking. It's 45%. There is a survey by Standish Group, and they say that 45% of features never used. And the features that are used often or always, 20% combined. So think well what features you need. Maybe you don't want to spend the time on the features that customers just will not use. Consider well, because it all takes time. But test well. Test the features you have well. You don't want to release the website that doesn't work. Okay. Care about SEO. You want to do 301 redirects where possible from old content to the new one, to the new pages. You want to have XML sitemap, and you want to notify Google if domain is changed. So with migration, you might want to change domain name, not just the platform. So in that case, you need to notify Google. And remember that Magento is different, because what I mean here is some people see Magento and it's just not, Magento works not the way that other platforms work. And it's same with admin. admins manage stores differently. But I consider this as a metaphor with migrating to Mac. Let's say if you migrate from Windows to Mac, first 2 weeks is nightmare. You don't know how to use features, you don't know anything, and you feel uncomfortable. But then you get used, it's fine, and you cannot live without it, right guys? Mac is in your life now. So the same with Magento. But conclusion is, it's not that scary. Migration is possible. If you have a qualified team, if you know what you want to do and you're serious about it, migration is possible. And we have thousands of examples of this statement being proven right. Thank you. We don't have time for questions, but you can follow up on Twitter or email. Thank you, guys. Dziękuję.